Good morning, and thank you for joining in on a weekend morning. So I'm guessing as more people join in, we will uh, get started with the actual presentation. But I'd love to know who's here, where are you coming from, what is your intention behind joining the highly paid content writer program, and only I can see your chats. So please feel free to type in whatever uh, works for you. And yeah, I'm looking forward to taking you through this session. Just a clarification, this is a launch webinar for my 8-week program. So I'm going to be talking to you about what the program is all about. How is it going to help? I hope, can you guys hear me? Maybe give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, awesome, cool. Great. My speaker just sort of went off. Cool, Kaushik, good to see you. Let me just see. Oh, wow, we have people from Secunderabad, from Delhi, from Mumbai. Awesome, great. Let me also share a little bit about myself, Hyderabad as well, Uttar Pradesh, Jaipur. Oh, that's where I am from. Super. Let me just quickly share a little bit about myself as well. Let me start sharing my screen. And I hope you can see my screen. If you can, just give me a quick thumbs up. Awesome. Great. Awesome. Lot of people from lot of places. Brilliant. Okay. So, how many of you are new here? How many of you haven't uh, joined one of my webinars before? Just you can type new in the chat window. Okay. One or two people who are new, rest everyone has been to some of the webinars. So amazing. Still for the first time joinees, I would like to quickly give an introduction as to who I am, to give you an idea of why I'm qualified to be talking to you, right? So I have over 16 years experience in the industry, of which 8 I have spent as an entrepreneur. I started my first company in 2015, which was also a marketing company. And then for several life choices, and especially when my son was born, I broke away from that company, which is today a 200 people firm. And when I left, we were around 40 people. And we'd reached like around $1 million in revenue, but I quit that and I started again. And now I take life a bit easy. But my second company is also doing pretty decent. I make enough money. I get enough time to spend with my son. I barely work like 6 hours a day, and that sort of suits me. But basically, I have experience in setting up a business, scaling it to multiple crores in revenues. And my focus throughout these businesses and in my previous corporate experience has also been content. And as you can see, I've talked about a lot of things in a lot of different places. I've given a TEDx talk, have been featured on World Economic Forum, several TV, radio, and news publications as well, right? So now my company is called Upgrade Consulting, and this community is called the Content Collective, which is something that you all are a part of. And through this community, I'll tell you what I'm trying to do, why this community was born, etc., in some time. Meanwhile, if you have any questions about me, about what I do, about the community, please feel free to put them in the Q&A window, and I will be happy to answer them a little later as we move through the webinar, right? Awesome. So, oops. Okay. So for the few folks who are new here, there are a couple of resources that are available to you in case you haven't already, accessed them. I'm also going to put these in the chat window towards the end of the webinar, so you can copy the links there. There is a free 30-day email course that I run, and it's pretty fantastic if I say so myself. Till date, over 30,000 people have taken the course, and I've got like insanely positive feedback on it. So yay for that. I've also put up some free learning videos on my YouTube channel. So you can go access those, and your basic questions like what is content writing? How do I become a content writer? How do I get started? All of that will be answered on those through those videos. And also we keep posting stuff on Instagram, which is diving deep into a lot of the things that I talk about in my programs. So you can follow the channel to get some of those insights on a very regular basis, right? Great. I want to keep this a little more interactive, so I'll keep asking you questions, and I would love it if you can put in some responses in the chat window. Yeah. So what I'm planning to cover today is one, the secrets to earning a consistent seven-figure income as a content writer. And, quite a few people who have become a part of my program have been able to like really quickly start earning, the revenue that they had aimed for, their goals, etc. So I'm going to talk about how to do that. And one is the secrets, right? And the second part is how do you get started specifically on your journey. So we'll cover a few details on that as well. But like I said, this is the launch webinar. There are a few value webinars also I do, which are about specific details on how do you build a portfolio, how do you find, clients, how do you go from 0 to 1 lakh in monthly revenue. So I'll keep you posted on when those webinars are coming, and you can join in those as well, right? So what I've tried to do is to build this webinar for both kind of audience. One, if you're new to content writing, which, some of you are, and even for those who have been content writers for some time, but are not able to break into the big leagues, right? So, which is where, so we did a survey, and I'm going to talk about that also a little bit later. So there were things that while people are doing a good job, they're not able to make enough money with that. So we're going to address why that's happening and how do you go about earning that money that you really deserve. And then finally, the questions. What do you want, right? So in fact, before I show you this slide, what are your goals, right? What do you want to do as a content writer? Like, why do you want to become a content writer? If you can put your thoughts in the chat window, that'll be awesome. Why do you want to be a content writer? Okay. First one is very honest, to make money. Yes, I totally agree with that. I'm a Marwari. I love money. Uh, and that's one of the things I started my own business to do. Okay. Anyone else? Any thoughts on why you want to be a content writer? So writing is something that comes naturally. Okay. And yeah, that's a good place to start, right? Something, and that's an advice I keep giving people, that start with what you know and then build capability as you go along. So if it comes naturally to you, amazing. And that's a great place to get started. Okay. I love freelance work. That's why I want to become a content writer. Um, okay. To leverage my creative skills, to make money and see myself growing too. Yes. I used to be a content writer, now a project manager, but I want to get back to the roots and of course the money part. Yeah, I mean, a lot of us do back and forth, and we figure out where my career has been like that, right? I went up and down until I figured out, okay, this is what I want to do and this is what I want to stick with. And that's how, the whole Upgrade and Content Collective was born. Nice. Cool. So it's great, you know, um, that all of you have some idea of where you're going. And I think what we want, like when we choose any career, and content writing is just one of those, right? When you choose any career, is that it should thrive. right? And because we're content writers, so it's build a thriving career as a content writer, which allows us to live our lives the way we want, right? With a consistent income. And why I say this and why I say this is important is because ultimately all that we're doing is ways to get to something somewhere in life, right? I probably, for example, for me, one of the biggest values is freedom. And like one of you said, I do this work from anywhere, right? So that was what drove me to choose, you know, life as a content writer. Because one, I have the freedom to work from anywhere. I have the freedom to choose the projects that I want to do. And because of the quality of the work, I'm able to earn a consistent income that is able to sustain the lifestyle that I want for myself, right? Because that's ultimately what matters. I want 4 to 6 hour working days so I can spend the rest of the time with my son or my dogs or just reading a book. I do not want to be sitting in front of my laptop all day typing away, because that leads to burnout, right? And we don't want burnout. We want a good life. And that's why we are choosing a career that can possibly enable that for us, right? But if we want to do that, content writing is a great place, okay? And I did a bit of research and I looked around what is the content, market like. And in the next 2-3 years, people would be spending $584 billion dollars on content marketing initiatives, right? And content writers are obviously a big chunk of that spend, because you cannot do any marketing unless you have the base of content to support that marketing, right? And if you just look at one part of this, only the blogs, even today, there are 7 million blogs that are getting published every day, and someone is writing them, right? Yes, a decent chunk of these could be written by, the people themselves, like the influencers or bloggers, etc. But companies also write a lot of blogs. These, individuals who are into coaching, consulting, training kind of roles also write a lot of blogs, and they don't have the time to do it themselves, right? So either they hire people internally to write for them or they outsource the work. In both cases, what they're looking for is a skill set of content writer, which, trust me, is very difficult to find. Every other week, my clients are calling me to check, Supriya, do you have a content writer that we can hire full time? Just yesterday, I got a job description for one of like a $4 billion IT company looking for a 5 to 8 year experienced content writer, but they're not able to find good people who fit the bill, right? Because unfortunately, what's also happened is anyone who can even write product descriptions counts themselves as content writers. But content writing is a very, very different ballgame than just putting two words together, right? So despite so much potential, people are not willing to, not able to capitalize on it. And it's a great market to be in, right? I don't know how many of you did economics in college, but here the demand is more than supply, right? And demand is not only for content writers, right? The demand is for quality content writers. And there is a big, big difference between just a content writer and a quality content writer. And we're going to talk about a little bit, later. So, which means it's a seller's market, which means if you are a content writer who provides quality content, right? Who is trustworthy, who clients can rely on, yeah, then you can charge premium prices and you will still have work spilling over. So from my cohorts, when I pick up a few people to work with me, they literally, after a couple of months, they're like, Supriya, we've got too much work. We cannot take on anymore, right? And that's a good place to be in, because then I'm like, okay, what if I raise your prices? Will you be able to take more? So there's this girl who started with me and I was paying her $3,000 per article. And this is just last August, so it's just been a year. She started writing for me at $3,000 per article, for a 1,000 word article. And today, within a year, she makes 7,000 rupees per 1,000 word article, right? So there's like, and before that, before joining the cohort, she was at zero, like she had never done content writing in her life. So from 0 to 7 rupees a word within a year, because she learned, she was able to incorporate the feedback I was giving her. She was able to demonstrate the quality, trust, and reliability, and that gave her the money that she wanted, right? So, and I want to make this very, very important distinction, right? Not just any content writer will get work, especially because we're in the age of AI. It is the quality content writers who are still very, very much in demand, and people are not able to find them. Just in fact, today morning, I have an email from a client who's looking for a strong copywriter to write their brand copy. And I have circulated that in the circles I know, and in the 8-week intensive group, that's a special, a separate WhatsApp group that we have. And, they are not yet there, like they want a specific background, etc. But we've not shortlisted one. But what I'm trying to say is the demand keeps coming and there is a supply gap. So if you are willing to work on your quality, there is a lot of work to be had, right? But there are no shortcuts to it. Right? You've got to put in the work. And because of this, right, it's very sad that most content writers are stuck at a very low income. They get 1 to 2 rupees a word. And this is again, some survey that was conducted that I've like sort of borrowed from and showed you how much people are making. And I also did a survey in the community at some point earlier on, where I asked them, what is it that you're earning today? And 58% of people were earning less than 2 rupees a word, which means that you have to write, even if you're at the top of this list, at 2 rupees a word, and you want to make 50,000 or 40,000 rupees a month, you would have to write 20,000 words. Okay. And just to give you a comparison, and I'm not saying a beginner would be able to do that. I have spent, of course, after all, 8 years doing this. Today I charge for, like, from one of my clients for a 1,500 word article. So I'm comparing 20,000 that you would have to write, or let's say if you want to make 80,000 a month, right? You have to write 40,000 words in that month to make 80,000 rupees. I write 1,500 words to make 85,000 rupees. That's the difference that happens when you showcase quality. Okay. And this program is all about helping you build that quality, right? So the reason is because obviously the writers are failing to deliver value. They're not consistent. They just run away. And, this is also my personal experience. I have worked with a lot of freelancers. I have hired a lot of people when I was in my corporate roles. And I found that these are the things that clients are very unwilling to accept, right? Why are they outsourcing? Because they want somebody who can take the burden off them. And if you're not that person, they're not going to come back to you. If you build that credibility, consistency, and trust with your clients by showcasing quality again and again, they will give you even more work. Just to give you an example, I know nothing about design, right? Zero. I don't, like, maybe I can do a banner for myself at some point in time, but I can't design for my clients. But I have been delivering amazing content services for them for many years. So now if they want a design element added to it, they come back to me first saying, so do you think you can do that? And I don't say no, but I've now built a community of designers as well who support these projects. And you know what that does for me? It brings me almost 1 to 2 lakhs of monthly income passively without me having to lift a finger, right? All I've done is build that community of designers, have clients who trust me, and I just add a markup to the price that designers quote me. And still I end up making a good 1 to 2 lakhs a month in passive income. So if you are able to crack the code of being trustworthy to your clients, you can, like, the money is yours to take. Okay. So it's really, really, and that's what, I want to do in the course, in the 8-week intensive also, because I feel that there are a lot of misconstrued beliefs that content writers are operating on, that, somebody's going to give me a topic, I'm going to write on it and some 1,000, 2,000 words and give it back. And that's going to make me big money. No. Big money comes from trust and relationships. And of course, I don't want to talk about that too much right now because I have a lot of things to cover in this. But that's what I continuously tell my course participants as well, that you've got to start building the foundations of who you are as a service provider, and that will open a lot of doors for you. So, question for you folks. What happens when you continuously and consistently deliver value? What do you think happens? Just put your answers in the chat window. And like I said, if you have any questions, put them in the Q&A box, okay? So I can answer them a little later towards the end. Okay. Practice makes perfect. You get a freedom from 9 to 5. Yeah. You build trust. Practice. Okay. I gave you the answer already in all the rambling that I did. Get better clients, achieve goals and targets, implement things every day, become a good content writer, creates trust in you. Yeah, all of that. So, establish trust with clients, position ourselves as credible professional, eventually enable ourselves to charge higher. Totally. Totally. So what I've done is I've taken some screenshots of some of my old conversations with clients just to give you a context of how things shape up. Okay. So this is earlier this year where I was working for this client and I needed to write some media bylines for the CEO, and I was drowned in work. I was like, I can't do anymore. And that time I was, for a 750 word article, I was charging them 20,000 rupees. And I said, I can't do anymore. They wanted me to do 5 bylines a month. I said, I can't do it. I can't do more than 2. So because I have other clients to service also, and I can't just like tie up all my bandwidth here. So they said, can we just connect for 10 minutes? And we had a chat. Then they said, let me just quickly call my chief marketing officer and I'll call you back. And so you can see 10:21 we spoke, 9:21 we spoke for 10 minutes. By 10 o'clock, they had given an approval to write a 750 word CEO byline at 40 rupees per word. Okay, so that became, for 750 words, I was charging them 30,000 rupees, right? Which was earlier this year. And then we have moved much beyond that now, right? And similarly, another client, because I was so busy writing stuff, they're like, they block my time in advance that I want to give you 6 articles. You have to keep that bandwidth for me next month. Similarly, these are social media posts, okay? Just 2-liner, maybe 50 words maximum, 50 words. But I hate writing social media posts. So if I write a social media post, I charge around 3,000 bucks for it, so 2,750. So one of my clients wanted me to write 8 social media posts. So I said, okay, that'll be 22,000. And then they, if you can see, they put a question mark. They're like, 8 posts for 22,000. Isn't that a lot? So I said, I charge this because social media is annoyingly time consuming and I don't want to do it. And then they said, this is okay. Send the quote. So if you're good, people will pay the price that you ask for without much debate. So more of that, right? Like $700 for just 2,000 words. Anytime my clients move to a different company, they register me there. And I have also branched out, like I said, design. Similarly, the video, right? For a 4-minute video, 10 lakhs, right? So per minute, we will charge 2 to 2.5 lakhs kind of a thing. And they're like, that's a fair price, okay? And we have to like continuously figure out how are we going to deliver on the work that's coming in, to a point till last year, before I started the Content Collective, I left 25 lakhs worth of money on the table because I just didn't have the bandwidth to take it, right? And this is a screenshot from my last year's revenue, just the 9 months. I haven't updated the screenshot. So from 1st April 23 to 8 Jan 24, this is the amount of money I made, 1.1 CR. Because clients trust me, I deliver quality work. And I figured, and I've like, sort of, sometimes people tell me this, that because of the way I talk, because or the way I come across, they think that's something there's always been the case, right? That I must have had a good background in all of this for me to be able to um, perform the way I do and engage clients the way I do. But that's not true. So if you see this picture, this one room is where I grew up in. Okay. I spent from the time I was 5 or 6 years old till the time I was 18, I lived in this one room with my mother and my sister. We were like, my mom was also a single mom. Um, and that time, like some 30, 40 years ago, single parenting wasn't, a thing. So nobody was willing to give us a place to stay. And this was the only thing we could really afford, right? And this, like, we had one plastic chair, no TV, and this bed was effectively our dining room, living room, uh, guest room, everything, right? Uh, from there till today, and I've just recently moved into a villa and I'm like sitting in this weird corner because there are cardboard boxes everywhere. I have moved to a villa where the rent is 1.8 lakhs a month, right? So I believe if I could make this transition, right, coming from this one room place with like chipped walls and whatnot to staying in a villa where I'm paying almost 2 lakhs in rent, it is possible for anyone to do it, right? But you won't be able to do it if you wait for someone else to take initiative on your behalf. So success is very, very dependent on ownership, which is you've got to own your success. You've got to say, this is my life. I'm going to put in all the effort and all the hard work that I need to get to where I want, right? And that could be anything. That could be any life. It doesn't have to be a expensive villa that you want to live in, but it could be, um, maybe travel, see the world, take some time off, whatever you want to do, right? Work only 4 months a year and take the rest of the time off. Whatever those goals or um, life priorities are, right? Give good education to your children, leave them a secure, financial situation to be in. All that comes with ownership, right? Um, and as content writers, right? Here's how you take ownership, and here's how I did it, right? One, figure out the gap in the market, right? Where is the space where you would get high paying clients? And they're in every niche, okay? People keep asking me, what niche should I work in? Every niche has high paying clients. I mean, I have written for perfumes and detergents and laundry, fabric softeners and wines and real estate and all of that. And everyone has paid me at least like a 10 rupee per word kind of rate, which is not a cheap rate to begin with, right? So every niche has the money. You just have to find the right clients and showcase the quality that will make them pay you those rates. Because clients don't want the kitch of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? They want someone who can just come in and just clear off something very quickly. So figure out where that gap is, practice your skill, test it out. And I talk a lot more about it there's another webinar I do called the Ascend framework, where I talk about how do you practice your skill and how do you test it out. And then, of course, don't hesitate. Okay. If you're doing something, do it with your full heart and soul. So jump in and then quickly do something that will build your personal brand, right? Because people buy from people. Today, my clients, like I said, they move. I don't do any cold emails. I don't do any cold calls. I don't even solicit any business because people just move to different companies, touch wood, and just impanel me, right? So that happens because I've built a personal brand. And if you interact with your clients, if you keep talking about the things that are important, if you keep showcasing the value that you bring to the table, then that personal brand will build up very quickly. And again, in the 8-week program, we talk about how do you do that, right? So when I did that, of course, my business built very quickly. I started my first agency, um, quit it when it was 40 people. And then after starting my second company, when I was freelancing as a single mom and I had a 3-month-old baby, still managed to do 40 lakhs in the first year, did 80 lakhs in the second year, did 1 CR in the third year. But then like that 80 lakh 1 crore is where my revenue got stuck. I couldn't do any more because as writers, of course, our bandwidth is limited, right? We have written something, it's gone and you can't charge for it again. So, and how much can you write in a month, right? If you're writing quality stuff, max 20 articles is what you can churn out. And that would also be like at a very burnout stage. So I just did not have the bandwidth to make more money than this. And that's when actually the Content Collective was born. Because I tried looking for writers, like my clients still do, scanned hundreds of resumes, hundreds of samples, interviewed many people, but I could not find anyone I could rely on to do a good job, right? I even hired a writer. I paid him 80,000 a month for 1.5 years to sort of say, okay, can he somehow make this work? But unfortunately, after 1.5 years, I had to let him go because he just wasn't even able to do work worth 30,000 in a month, right? So while there's demand, I couldn't find any writers. And I found a business mentor. And I told him that I need to hire people urgently because I'm just leaving money on the table. And I just couldn't find anyone. Even he looked in his directory and all the people that he knew, but we just weren't able to find the right people. And that's when he said, if that's such a gap in the market, why don't you train them yourself? And which is where the Content Collective was born. And I started with a 30-day free email course. 30,000 people, more than that, actually have taken this course and have rated it really high. And then they wanted more. So I checked with them, do you want personal mentorship? And they said, yes. But my time, I find, like, I put a high value on my time, right? So I just couldn't train everybody. So we installed an application process where people applied, we interviewed them, and then we brought them into the 8-week program. We've done 8 cohorts till now, 100 plus people have gone through the course. And over time, I have enabled several opportunities. So till date, around 38 plus lakhs in opportunities have been given to people in that cohort. And it's a win-win for me and for them, right? Because while I gave them 38 lakhs, I was able to make more money, right? My revenue went from 1 crore to 1.5 crore. So it's still more than what I was making, which is a good business proposition. And here are some of them, and you can even chat to them. There are many more stories, but in the interest of time, I would not take you through all of them. So this is the person I was talking about, right? So she came with zero experience in content writing, consistently makes over 1 lakh a month. Then we have Fahim. He works full-time with my organization now. When he came, he also had zero experience in content writing, right? He made 40K while in the second month of the cohort itself. And he joined my first batch. And he was pretty good, so I hired him full-time. And yeah, now he is one of the point of contacts for the community, and he'll be the one interviewing you if you apply to become a part of this program. We also have Vijay, who is, we have Vijay, who is actually a principal in a PU college. And he has been a blogger with over 300 blogs to his name, and he wanted to explore professional content writing because he wasn't monetizing those blogs yet. So he came on board, again, great writer, and I've sent several opportunities his way. And now Sai and Vijay also mentors for this 8-week cohort because I think it's important that people who learned from scratch also contribute to learning for other folks, right? Because they know what works in this context. So they are also happily mentoring people in the 8-week batch. Then we have Dhanya, who works consistently with me now. She was a content writer before she joined in, and she was earning, 50 to 80 paisa per word before she joined. And in the first month of the cohort, she bagged a 1.2 lakh project, right? So this is actually a story I really like, which is not a freelance story, right? This is a story about someone who's looking for a job and who also did not write in English. So Vinay was, and this is a WhatsApp message he sent me, and I've just pasted it here because, that's a really, this story really impacted me significantly because he was very timid initially. He was like, I don't know English, I write vernacular, what am I going to do? And he was earning a very tiny amount with a um, media publication, some vernacular media publication. And he was interviewing for some other job. And when he got the job and they called him to double his salary because of one principle that he had applied during the interview and the pilot, the sample process. And he was so happy uh, that just by applying that one principle, he was able to double his salary, right? So whether you're a freelance writer or you're looking for content writing career, the things that you're going to learn in the 8-week cohort are going to really help like improve one, the quality of your writing, the way that you approach writing itself, and of course your ability to charge more money, right? So yeah. So when it comes to you, there are 5 secrets of highly paid content writers that most people don't talk about. One is that low rates don't guarantee more work. Okay. Uh, just because you're charging less doesn't mean that work will keep pouring in. It totally depends still on the quality that you uh, shell out, right? And even like, for example, Dhanya's story, even when she was charging 50 paisa, it wasn't that she was making a lot of money. So, and versus me, where I charge really high rates, but work keeps pouring in. So you've got to figure out what your price is going to be and what is the quality you deliver against that to find that balance and say, this is my sweet spot, right? The next thing is a lot of people hesitate in becoming content writers because they think I need to be a journalist or I need a degree in English. That's not true. I don't have either, right? So you don't need degrees to be a content writer. You just need a very good understanding of any language that you're planning to write in. You need to read a lot and you need to write a lot, right? And you need to know certain basic fundamental principles of becoming a content writer, which we talk about in the 8-week program to help you become that quality content writer that people are looking for, right? And the third one, which is very important, is chasing more clients actually loses you money. So I have 6 clients, like I can count them on my fingers, 6 clients for the past 6 years. And like I said, I don't have to look for more because they keep giving me enough and more work to, you know, make the revenue, meet the revenue goal that I have in mind. What happens when you chase new clients? A lot of your bandwidth, one, goes in having those new conversations, signing those new contracts, proving your worth all over again that yes, you're an amazing writer to work with, which takes away a lot of time that you could have actually spent on writing for paid work. Yeah. So all these people who send out those thousands of cold emails and LinkedIn messages thinking that something is going to show up, I never know how they make money because like I said, people buy from people, right? So in the course, I tell you how to find those right clients that will appreciate your worth and pay you for it. So don't chase too many clients. Get those 5, 6 good ones. If you want to make 1 lakh a month, you barely need 3 clients. That's it. And you'll be set. Okay. If you want to make more than that, you can upsell within those 3 clients and you can make even more money. So it's less about chasing more clients and more about doing good work for the clients that you actually have, right? And like Vinay's story tells us, vernacular languages have enough opportunities. And if you don't want to do this full time, you can make content writing a great side hustle. In fact, yesterday, so I ran another mastermind program called Tectonic, which is for people wanting to write for tech. And there is a participant there, and she told me that before she joined the program, she wasn't making any money from content writing, and she has a full-time job. And yesterday, she said that it's been going on for what, 6 months? Not even 6 months yet. And today she's making 50,000 a month as a side hustle from content. And she's very sure that in the next 4, 5 months, she'll be able to get to 1 lakh a month. And the only reason she's not got there is because she's hesitating in taking more projects. But otherwise, there is enough and more work coming her way. right? So side hustle wise also, content writing is great. We have, Vijay's example also, who has a full-time job and does that on the side and supplements the income. Um, oops, sorry, accidentally stopped sharing. 1 second. So if you want to do that, what you need to do is learn how to write the good stuff, create an awesome portfolio, reach out to the right clients and seal the deal, and retain clients who you've already captured with great service and continuous value. Okay. Now, you can either do it yourself because I've literally told you how all of that is done, or you can join the 8-week intensive program, which is this. Okay. So we have 8 weeks. We start by introduction and goal setting because I believe goal setting is super important. If only because it focuses you in the right direction. And to give you very random example on this. So I just told you, right, that the new house I moved in, the rent is 1.8 lakhs per month. And I did not have that money. Like I checked with my financial advisor. He said, Supriya, by the time you're 70, if you do this, you will be broke. You'll be an old, destitute woman on the roads because we don't have the money to pay this kind of rent. But I love the house. I wanted the house. And this is the first time in 11 years I'm moving. So I said, no, I need the house. So I went to bed thinking about, I need to find a way to make this additional 1.8 lakhs a month. So it doesn't affect my existing investments. And I'm still able to, uh, live in a house that I want. And you would not believe that the next day morning, there were messages from 5 different clients for 5 different type of projects. And on a whim, I just totaled, what this is going to end up being. And it was 1.5 lakhs. So which is like very close to the goal I had set for myself that I need a 1.8 lakh additional income. And I've made that 1.5 anyway, right? So thankfully, touchwood, the retainers are signed, the projects are on, and now I can afford a house. But setting goals really works at some level. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. We will also figure out what is the challenge that most writers face and why are they not able to deliver on what the clients want. Okay. And that's the only reason you're not getting paid if you're not able to deliver on what the client wants. So we'll figure out what are the challenges, how do you understand what the client wants, what is the intention of the content piece, and how to ask the right questions to get the brief. So your work is reduced, right? Then we'll of course dive into writing fundamentals that, how do you structure a content piece? And we'll talk about research, how do you do research quickly? A lot of people get lost in the rabbit hole of research, but how do you do it quickly, efficiently, and how do you tell stories, right? And how when you have all the information and all the data, how do you weave into a interesting piece that people would actually want to read? And then we'll talk about we'll take these fundamentals and then we'll talk about the various forms of content, right? So emails and social media and landing pages and web pages and video scripts and blogs. So we talk about all of those and how do you create those? And there are lots of assignments for you to do to practice this. The other intention is that these assignments that you do will become your portfolio because a lot of new writers don't have a portfolio. Client will ask, okay, fine, send me a portfolio, you have nothing. So these assignments will help you build that portfolio, okay? And with that portfolio, we'll also talk about how do you find those right clients. And finally, we end by saying, what should you price for your services? What are some standard documentation you have in place? And of course, the ethics, which according to me is a very important piece. So that's pretty much what the 8-week program is all about. And here's what you will get. So there will be 18 recorded sessions that I have recorded for each of these concepts. You will get 4 live calls with me in the 2 months. So 2 calls per month. But my Q&A calls are open for all cohorts, right? So effectively, once you sign up, your membership is valid for a whole year. So every month you get 2 calls with me. So effectively 24 calls. You can hop on and ask any question, get your work reviewed, get inputs on how you want to pitch to a client or anything that you have in mind, you can join these calls and ask me live. You also get 16 live calls with the program mentors, Sai and Vijay. So they will take you through each and every concept. They'll review your assignments. And they will also answer any questions you may have, which, like tiny doubts, etc. that you have. In addition, you get 60 plus hours of call recordings from all the previous cohorts because everyone has new and interesting questions. So there's a lot of stuff to learn from those calls as well. We'll give you guides, worksheets to apply these concepts. You also become a part of an exclusive WhatsApp group, which is where we share opportunities. And here I just want to give a disclaimer, okay? Because this is a question again that comes up many times. I'm not here to give you a job. Okay, that's not what I do. I'm here to teach you how to be a better content writer. And if you demonstrate that, right? If you show me how your quality of work has improved, if you match the standard I have for people who write for me, then I will choose you for the opportunity. It's a very democratic process. I will share the opportunity. You have to send me samples and your code, and the best sample and the code takes away the project. That's as simple as that, right? So if you are thinking of joining the course is going to guarantee an internship or a job, I'm sorry, but that's not what it is. We will definitely open opportunities, but it is your merit that will decide whether you get those or not. And I will do my best to help you get to that point. But the hard work needs to be put in by you. So, which will happen with those multiple practice assignments that we'll give you. And of course, the mentors will review all of those assignments and give you feedback so you can improve your writing. So that's pretty much what the 8-week program is all about. The applications are open. I'll give you a link to this form as well. And like I said, not anyone can join. You have to let us know why you're a good fit. And that will happen once you answer the questions here. For any questions which are about logistics, right? If you want to know the fee, the duration, how it's going to work, what are the format, ask him. Okay, he'll answer everything. We have a few more minutes left, so I would rather answer your questions on content writing itself. I'll stop sharing my screen now, and I'll give you these links that I promised. You can meanwhile type in your questions in the Q&A box, and I will take those one by one. Okay, so let me just first give you the initial. All of those people who are messaging me about the logistic questions, like I said, speak to Fahim. He's better placed to answer those. Use my time to answer your questions specifically on content writing. How is it as a career? What will you get out of it, etc. And I'm happy to answer those. So I've just shared links to free 30-day email course, YouTube channel, and Instagram channel for a lot of free content. So please make use of that. And I'm also sharing the link to the application form and Fahim's contact details. So you can definitely reach out to him. If you apply, he will reach out to you. And if you apply and qualify, he will reach out to you and he will answer any questions that you might have. Okay. So let me see. And Fahim, if you're here, you might want to drop in a hi. Okay, so in the Q&A box, I think these ideas and strategies can also be applied as a video editor. Yes, like I said, these are for any sort of career that you want to choose. There are a lot of things that are common across the board. You can use it because ultimately it's about how well you provide a service. In the course, of course, we focus on content writing, but there's a lot of stuff that you can take away in different streams. Though, because our focus is content writing, I would recommend only those who are looking to make content writing a career join in, right? Okay. In order to send portfolio of written samples, can I request them to read my portfolio showcase in LinkedIn account posts or pages instead? So this is a interesting question. And here's what I would say. Let's say you call a telephone company to say my internet connection is not working. And they're like, here's a guide, go find out what you want to read and fix it yourself. How does that feel? Not good, right? What clients want is for you to um, minimize the time they are spending on figuring you out. Okay. They want to trust you, they want to do that quickly. Can you point them? So even till date, if I have to send new samples, because I keep getting a lot of requests for work, right? And I don't say no to them. I obviously, because I don't want to shut any door. So I send over my portfolio anyway. But anytime I'm sending a portfolio, I customize it. I give specific links to the things they need to see. So for example, recently a banking tech company wrote to me and they wanted to say, uh, send me some samples. I could have just sent the samples that I have in my usual deck. So I sent my usual deck, but I also in the email gave them 5 samples to say, here's what I have written on banking technology specifically. So you can only see these. You don't have to go through all the random things I might have written. Okay. So it is important to have customized portfolios for different people. Okay. And it will take you time to build that. But till then, at least if someone is asking you for a wine kind of a writing, try and see if you can send them something which is remotely related to beverages at least. If not, can you quickly write a 400-word piece? So sometimes, like when I got my first client as a real estate company, and they asked me, Supriya, do you have any real estate samples? And I said, I've never written on real estate before, but I can do a free pilot project for you. So they sent me a blog, I wrote it, they loved it, and I got like some 40 blogs from them after that. So if I had given them a tech writing sample, it wouldn't have worked for them because the audience is very different, right? So customizing your portfolio, sending the clients the right thing that they should look at. If you have to send LinkedIn posts, please send links to those LinkedIn posts that read this post, okay? Don't just direct them to your LinkedIn page and say, go read whatever you want. So that is important. I hope that answered your question. Is it okay to create a portfolio in medium.com? And is it okay to write on broad categories? Yeah, sure. But like I said, when you create a portfolio in Medium, send the links of what you think is the most relevant to the client. Is it must that content writers should write in a particular niche or they can write in different niches? Again, interesting question. So, like I said, my niche is tech, but I also write for coaches. I've written, like I said, for F&B, for lifestyle, for real estate. So I would say don't limit, and especially if you're a new writer, okay, try a lot of different things to see what comes naturally to you. And then stay with that majorly to build your expertise. Okay, but that doesn't mean say no to work coming in from other niches. If it pays well, take it, right? But my expertise in tech is because most of the work I do is tech, right? So the more you read, the more you interact with people in the same space, the more you build your knowledge. And then people start paying you for your knowledge. So today, clients don't pay me to only write for them, right? They're like, you tell us what you need to, what we should write about. Because I do so much of tech writing that I know what's happening in the space and I'm able to give them some good ideas and good topics that they can work on, right? And that has elevated the value I bring to the table for them. So when it comes to niches, first experiment with everything, see what comes naturally to you and pays well. Focus on that and build expertise there, but don't say no to work coming in from other places also. And keeps your writing fresh. So do that. Where can you see my work? I will share some articles I wrote for the World Economic Forum. Give me 1 minute, I'll put it in the chat window. So here's my profile on the World Economic Forum. There are some 4 articles I wrote, and you can go read them if you like. Okay. As a fresher, how can I start my writing career? So, like I said, there are a couple of videos on my YouTube channel which really talk about that where you start. I'm going to give you the link to my YouTube channel as well, which is here. And you can go check those videos out. That would, oops, sorry. And anyone who wants questions answered, please put it in the Q&A box, okay? So I put the YouTube channel also here. Okay, I think we're almost out of time, so maybe I'll take one more question if anyone has it. And then I will leave you free to enjoy your weekend. And like I said, in case any other questions you have after this, you can, I have given you Fahim's number. You can go reach out to him and he'll be happy to answer your questions. Awesome, great. Thank you everyone then. It was nice having you here and thank you so much for interacting on the chat. I hope to see some of you in the 8-week program. Have a good weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.